Welcome and thanks for joining us on today's Around the World Armchair Adventures, where we bring to you a series of travel information sessions. Sit back and enjoy for the next 30 minutes or so discovering the world of Wendy Wu Tours. Hi, I'm Angelina from Wendy Wu Tours, and here at Wendy Wu Tours, we have been inspiring travellers to Asia and beyond for over 25 years, and we are known as Australia's leading Asia touring specialists, offering group tours, private tours, tailor-made holidays, short stays, and stopovers. We offer unrivaled knowledge and expertise through our comprehensive range of escorted group tours with excellent value inclusions. We also have expert national escorts and local guides and provide an exciting range of journeys to must-see destinations. In today's Armchair Adventure, we take you to our newest destination and on our newest tour, Eurasia Explorer, where we travel throughout 3 countries, journeying via the spectacular High Caucasus Mountains and through the lowlands of Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia on an unforgettable 24-day experience. Now, I'm going to explore more of Eurasia and all the sights and experiences that we'll have throughout this tour as we follow in the footsteps of Silk Road merchants and medieval crusader knights on our Eurasia adventure. Now, learning a little bit more about Eurasia. So Eurasia is a combined landmass of the continents of Europe and Asia, and its combined area of 93 countries bordering from China in the north to Russia and Iran, essentially joining Europe to Asia. Now, where we travel through the South Caucasus region, it sits right in the heart of the emerging Eurasia supercontinent. Now, with China located to the east, as you can see here, Central Asia, you've got Turkey and Europe to the west, Russia to the north, and Iran and the Middle East towards the south. Now, this has become quite a new corridor from the old Silk Road, as now very much with transportation systems, railway systems, becoming the new trading route from China right through to Europe. Now, particularly, you'll find in the oil-rich country of Azerbaijan, you'll see here the blue part, which is the Caspian Sea, separating that to its close neighbor, Central Asia, and the stands. Now, Azerbaijan redefined itself over the past 2 decades. Now, it was struggling as a newly independent state and has now become a major regional energy player. Now, with all 3 countries, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia, they all declared their independence from the Soviet Union in 1991 upon the dissolution of the USSR in that same year. Now, nearby in Georgia, this is situated strategically in the important crossroads where Europe meets Asia. It's capital of Tbilisi there. Georgia has a unique and ancient cultural heritage, more of a Mediterranean feel with its wineries and vineyards throughout, and fantastic hospitality and cuisine that have influences from Persia, Turkey, and Russia. Now, you'll see below that is the landlocked country of Armenia, with Turkey to the west, Georgia above to the north, and Azerbaijan to the east. Armenia boasts a history longer than most European countries and has been independent as well from the Soviet Union since 1991, and is the earliest of the Christian civilizations, with Armenia's first church founded in the 4th century. Now, through these parts, through Azerbaijan, Georgia, and Armenia, they match the West with their modern and technological advances, particularly in their major cities, their capitals, which are emerging amazing destinations of ancient sites and modern skyscraper business districts and developments throughout. It's also important to remember that these countries are still developing, and as such, many aspects of tourism in these countries particularly are not as well developed in the regional towns. However, this is all part of the charm of taking the road less travelled. Now, it's 20 hours approximate flying time from Australia. We also need need a visa for Australian passport holders to travel to Azerbaijan, so that we take care of that for you as part of our tour inclusions. And each country has its own language and also its own currency. However, USD and Euro are accepted throughout. Now, the seasons that we travel in are spring and summer, which are the best times to see the stunning areas of all three countries, which we will now explore more of next. Our Eurasia Explorer is a 24-day Go Beyond tour. Now, this includes international flights in the package price, ex-Australian capital cities, as well as all meals, breakfast, lunch and dinner on this tour. Also quality accommodation ranging from 3.5 to 4-star hotels, and it's typically a smaller group of less than 18 guests. Now, we take care of your visa fees for you as well, and also sightseeing and entrance fees are included with our expert national escorts as per the itinerary. Now, being a 3-country tour, we will also journey through the spectacular Caucasus Mountains. We start our tour in Azerbaijan, flying in to Baku, and we then travel on via coach through to Georgia before then ending our tour in Armenia. So this tour is all air-conditioned coach vehicle, so you'll get to enjoy the sights along the way, as taste the regional flavors and have the many immersive style experiences that we'll learn more about throughout our Eurasia Explorer tour adventure today. Now, being a 3-country tour, you'll also have 3 national escorts. Now, each country will have their own national guide who is an expert of the country that they live in and come from, and they will enjoy taking you through the many sites of their homeland, and they will ensure that you have a seamless end-to-end holiday experience as we travel throughout each country, throughout the borders, and ensuring that you have an enjoyable journey. So let's start exploring and taking in the many sights and experiences on our Eurasia Explorer tour next. Our tour starts in Baku, the capital of Azerbaijan, and here this city is described as the architectural love child of Paris and Dubai, with plenty of Soviet style half hidden in the background. So few cities in the world are changing as rapidly, and nowhere else in Eurasia does East meet West and blend seamlessly from the old city to now the modern capital, with skyscrapers and neon lights right through to Ferris wheels. It even has a new entertainment complex, complete with its own Venice-style canals linking shopping malls and restaurants, and you can travel via gondola. It's at the heart of this UNESCO old city, lies within the ancient arc of the fortress wall. So around this, there's a gracefully illuminated stone mansions and pedestrianized tree-lined streets filled with exclusive boutiques. And here also we will visit Martyrs Lane, which is formerly known as Kirov Park. This is a cemetery memorial dedicated to those killed by the Soviet army during the war period of 1988 to 1994. We walk through the alley here and find a beautiful view overlooking Baku's coastline. Before we also visit Ichira Shehir, the historical old part of the city, and walk past the Shemakar Old City Gate before we enjoy a delicious evening meal. Baku offers so much history in this city. As we travel through, you will also see Shirvanshah's Palace, which is a 15th century palace described by UNESCO as the pearl of Azerbaijan's architecture. The complex contains the main building of the palace, as well as the burial vaults, as well as the Shah's Mosque with a minaret, and also Sayyid Bakuvi's mausoleum is also located here. He was a famous Azerbaijani scientist and philosopher of the medieval ages. Now we also see the carpet museum here, so you can see a superb collection of rugs, and this museum was built in 2014 and is designed like a gigantic roll of carpet. So you can see here with complete architectural design of a roll of carpet as you enter the cylindrical triangle-shaped building. Now on this tour we also take in the main market square where you can see the numerous art studios, souvenir stalls, and then we also visit Fountain Square, which is in the new part of Baku, and we also visit the Ateşgar Fire Temple, and Atash in Persian means fire. So here this castle is like a religious temple and is often called the Fire Temple of Baku, and is based on Persian inscriptions, and this temple was used as a Hindu, Sikh and also a place of worship. One of the exciting highlights in Baku is visiting Yanadag, which literally means burning mountain. This is a gas fire which blazes continuously on the hillside of the Absheron Peninsula. Now the flames jet into the air around 3 meters high from the thin porous sandstone layer below. Now unlike mud volcanoes, the Yanadag's flame burns fairly steadily and involves a steady seep of gas from the subsurface. So here we also visit the Mardikan medieval fortress, and we also drive out to the Gobustan National Park where we visit the Petroglyph Museum and explore the rock carvings dating back to 10,000 BC. Now here you will see through this reserve carvings, mud volcanoes, and you'll also see a huge amount, over 6,000 rock carvings, and these are well preserved throughout this area and dating back to 5,000 to 20,000 years. We drive through the Caucasus Mountains in the northwest of Azerbaijan, and here we get to stop at the historical Juma Mosque, and we also will visit a local home where we take part in yogurt making the traditional Dovkar yogurt dish. Now on the way we also stop at Diri Baba Mausoleum in the village of Mareza, and we also enjoy a scenic drive through the Gurdi Manche River Canyon to visit Lahich, which is an ancient village filled with charming cobblestone sidewalks, and it's also famous for its medieval water supply, and also it's well known for its traditional jewellery, handicrafts, copperware, carpets and pottery, to name a few. Now this is a quaint 5th century corner of the Caucasus Mountains and is rich in historical and architectural value. Now this evening we stay in the city of Kabala, and here you will get to enjoy the night in this 2,000-year-old city, which is the most ancient city of Azerbaijan and was for 600 years the capital of ancient Caucasian Albania. Now this morning from Kabala we visit Ninj village, which is where we meet the native Udan people who are considered to be the descendants of the people of Caucasian Albania. Now here we also continue on to the small village of Sheki, and this is where we visit the Palace of Sheki Khans, which is a magnificent medieval fortress, and it's very impressive. You can walk along the rainbow coloured floors created by the colourful frescoes, and then visit the handicrafts workshop where you can learn more about how these artisans create the Sheki K windows. Now these are stained glass creations that take 6 months to build 1 square meter, and they are meticulously crafted to the millimeter with no nails or glue, and they use small pieces of coloured glass that are inserted into the wooden lattice windows. Now some windows will use more than 14,000 pieces of glass, which really is a test of the craftsman's skill and patience. Now we also visit nearby the colourful Sheki Bazaar, where you can find just about everything you want to buy, including souvenirs, local fruits and berries and honeys, and also the local Sheki sweets. And we will then later visit the village of Kis. So So now we say farewell to our local Azerbaijan National Escort as they take us to the Georgian border where we will meet our Georgian National Escort. Now from the border we drive through the eastern part of Georgia, and this is most famous for its vineyards and winemaking traditions. Georgia is said to be the true birthplace of wine. Now first we explore a traditional market in the Georgian border town of Lagodeki, and we also visit a local family, explore their gardens and vineyards, and then enjoy a delicious lunch of homemade food, wine, and also you can have a sip, if you dare, of the Georgian cha-cha, which is one of the two most popular drinks and is similar to brandy and a lot stronger than vodka, made from the local grapes. Tomorrow we can enjoy learning more about the other famous drop here in Georgia. Now tonight we stay at our hotel at the beautiful Akasheni Wine Resort. Now this resort is surrounded by vineyards and stunning views of the Caucasus Mountains and is absolutely the perfect place and a real highlight on this tour, where you can just take a break before we continue along our journey and enjoy its ultra modern style and comfortable guest rooms as we stay here overnight. After a relaxing night stay at the wine resort, we then travel out through to Kakhete, which is the famous wine producing villages en route to Kariba Winery, where we will visit and taste some of the local wines. Now here the Kariba Winery is unique for its wine cellar, which is located in a tunnel carved out of rock, which was originally built for military purposes, and today the tunnel is used to store Kakhete's finest wines. Now here they use the ancient old storage techniques of the clay pots, which are known as quavery, which are stored underground with the grape juice fermenting for 6 months. Now this practice dates back to 4000 BC. Kakhete is the most important wine region in Georgia in quantitative, qualitative, and even historical terms, with almost 3/4 of the country's wine grapes that are grown here. Now the land is very much fertile, lush, green, and is Georgia's principal wine country. Now for the wine connoisseurs, if you'd like to try one of the white varieties, there's a few varieties, but just to name a few, there's the Chinuri, the Takviri, and also the Mtsvani. And for the reds, you can try the Saparavi, the Pirosmani, and also the Mukzani. So you can enjoy a tasty tipple as we're traveling through the wine region of Georgia. Here in the beautiful 18th century town of Sinari, you will get to experience this quaint stone-walled city filled with small houses with terracotta roofs and decorated balconies. It is also known as the City of Love and has a European Tuscany feel to it. Perched high up on the hills with stunning views, here you can admire the picturesque views of the Alazani Valley and the Great Caucasus Mountains. Now here this royal town is surrounded by defence walls with 23 towers, and it was a most important trading centre on the Great Silk Road. So also we visit the Sioni Cathedral here, also the Anchiskati Basilica, as well as here in the town centre, the Rezo Gabriazzi Theatre Clock Tower. Before we cross the bridge to the Bridge of Peace to the Reiki Park. So later we continue to Bodby Convent, which according to legend, this is the burial place of Saint Nino, who converted Georgia to Christianity in the 4th century. Now here in Tbilisi, you can enjoy the eternal charms of the capital of the country of Georgia. With its old town, cobblestone streets that reflect a long, complicated history with periods under Persian and Russian rule, it offers diverse architecture which encompasses Eastern Orthodox churches, ornate Art Nouveau buildings, as well as Soviet modernist structures. So looming over the old town skyline high up in the hills is the Narakala fortress, which is a former Persian citadel, and from here you can walk down to the district where you can see the sulphur bathhouses and also pass by the only mosque in Tbilisi. Now you can also stroll through the Shardin area, which is full of narrow streets, cozy cafes, wine tasting bars and also souvenir shops, and you can soak in the history of the old town through here. Now when it comes to shopping, the city offers much more for the avid holiday shopper, so you can find an abundance of shops where you'll find art, homewares, ceramics, books and fashion labels. Now don't think that the shopping scene is all found in street markets. Tbilisi has a thriving and trendy shopping malls with cool shops and many international labels. So the city offers a dramatic setting in the deep valley of the swift Mekvari River, and this offers also picturesque architecture. It has a lively arts and cultural scene, and here you can just enjoy the whole new Georgian lifestyle of the 21st century dimension, including trendy cafes and restaurants. Now we also get to sample the delicious Georgian cuisine, which is quite appropriately an expression of their own culture. So warm and inviting comfort food like khachapuri, which is the cheese stuffed bread, accompanied by madzuni, which is the yogurt. And these are flavored with herbs like tarragon, parsley, dill, and also coriander. And you can also combine with throughout the foods, there's lots of walnuts and garlic and also rich flavorings and sauces. So we explore more of the town here of Tbilisi after dinner as we enjoy a delicious meal of local flavors, and we can walk along the streets and see the colorful houses, the patterned balconies, and also the revamped modern architecture. So the old town is strongly reminiscent of the ancient Eurasian crossroads with its winding lanes and also leafy squares and handsome churches, all overlooked by the stunning 17th century Narakala fortress. We explore the religious side of Georgia as we visit the 3,000-year-old ancient capital and religious center of Georgia in Meksketa. Now here we will also visit the famous Svetiskavali Cathedral, which is said to hold the robe of Christ that resides and is preserved in its crypt. Now, this is the spiritual heart of Christianity since it was established here in 327 and holds a near mystical significance in Georgian culture. Now, also set along the alluring rivers and also the stunning scenery along the Caucasus Mountains, you can see here the Gogeti Holy Trinity Church, which is located at an altitude of over 2,000 meters. You will enjoy the stunning, breathtaking views of Mount Gazbegi. Now, we also will return to Gudari, where we visit a local master who will tell us more about Georgian icon painting and also the local handicraft of felt making. We visit Kutaisi for one night as we pass through the city on this tour. Now, this is the capital of several historical kingdoms within Georgia. Kutaisi is today being revitalized after years of post-Soviet decline. This is where Georgia's parliament has now been transferred from Tbilisi, and you will see its brand new quarters here since 2012. Now, you'll also visit the Stalin Museum, which includes more than 60,000 artifacts, and the tiny house where dictator Joseph Stalin was born. This is a very pretty city and is the second largest in the country of Georgia and is more than 3,000 years old and is connected to the legend of Jason and the Argonauts along with his mythical golden fleece. Now, another highlight is visiting the Aplistica cave town. Now, this dates back to the first millennial BC, and this is a place where the Great Silk Road used to pass through. So this is an old and interesting complex with dwelling quarters, wine cellars, bakeries. There's also a basilica church that's hewn out in the rock, and even an antique theatre is here. So this is a fascinating and once enormous cave city that sits above the Mitvari River and also has stunning views along the valley. So between the 6th century BC and the 1st century AD, Uplixtica developed into one of the chief political and religious centres with temples dedicated to the sun goddess. We explore the stunning natural scenery through the Okatsi Canyon. Here we take a couple of hours to walk around, passing through the Dadiani forest before finishing up with the beautiful panoramic views looking over the canyon. So we also will see the Okatsi waterfall, and we will travel throughout seeing bird wildlife through here. It's great for photographers through this area as well to see the natural stunning wildlife and also scenery throughout this region as well. Now we later visit the 19th century Dadiani Palace in Zugdig, and then we will journey to one of the most exciting parts of this trip, to Savanti, where you will explore one of the highest mountains and glacier regions and also experience some of the ancient traditions of this area. We arrive in the pristine, beautiful area of Metstia. Now here, this is the Upper Svanti region, which is our base for 2 nights. We explore the famous Svan watchtowers, which are the stone defense towers that sit in the valley looking out to the stunning mountains in the distance. Mestia is the highland townlet in the northwest of Georgia with an elevation of 1,500 meters in the Caucasus Mountains. Now, Svanti is the highest inhabited area in the Caucasus and is divided into 2 parts, being the upper and the lower regions. So Svanti is surrounded by mountains, medieval type villages, and also the distinctive tower houses. Now, the area is also home to Svans, who are a proud people with a long history of survival in this isolated part of Europe. They also speak their own language as well. Now, the valley overlooks the stunning mountains in the distance and is also the centre of mountaineering tourism. So we later visit the nearby Lakiri village and take a short hike throughout this picturesque valley, and we also enjoy the views of the Chalati Glacier, and absolutely it is truly spectacular through this region. As part of our immersive style experiences, you'll enjoy a baking class, and here you'll learn about local life and culture firsthand, and you'll get to make the famous hachapuri, which is the local Georgian famous cheese-filled bread. Now, there is a bit of history about this bread that you'll learn whilst you're in the baking class, and you'll get to experience tasting some of Georgian's finest food, and this is a variety of flavors of Mediterranean flavors, as well as influences from Turkey and Persia throughout their cooking. Now, you'll also taste a variety of other Georgian dishes, including marinated meat skewers and dumplings with a variety of fillings. Also, you can wash this down with a tasty drop of Georgian red wine. Now, throughout our travels throughout the Caucasus countries, you'll enjoy the many flavors of each region, and this is all part of the tour, as we provide a delicious range of cuisine throughout your journey. Now, a unique part of this tour is visiting the small village of Ushkilai. Now, this is a small community of 4 villages that's located at the head of the Nguri Gorge in Svanti in Georgia, and is also only 6 kilometers off the Russian border. Now, this small community area is completely unreachable for half of the year, so we only can visit this during summertime, and it's quite unique for us to be traveling through this small community. Now, here, this is the highest continuous inhabited village in Europe, and it is famous for its abundance of watchtowers that are similar to the Svan towers that we saw in Mestia, and also you'll get to see the famous church here, as well as get to just walk along and see the quaint village and enjoy local life and enjoy just the breathtaking, stunning scenery, and also just breathe in the pristineness of this beautiful area. We're back to the beautiful city of Kutaisi, and here we will spend one night, and you will have the opportunity to explore one of the most ancient cities in the world and also the third most populated city in Georgia. Traditionally, it's the second in importance behind that of the capital of Tbilisi, and here you'll have some free time to explore through the cobbled streets of this beautiful, quaint town. You'll also pay a visit on our tour to the hillside Galati Monastery and also the Baghrati Palace Cathedral. Now, the monastery is a masterpiece of the golden age of medieval Georgia, and also is one of the largest medieval Orthodox monasteries in ancient Georgia. Now, Georgia has always had a talent for choosing beautiful locations for their churches, and also you will notice this famous monastery complex is seated high up on the wooded hillside and is a fine example of the stunning architecture and sights you'll see throughout this city. From the finest wines to the finest mineral water, Georgia has it all. We stopped by Bojomi, the resort town, which is the picturesque home of the Bojomi Gorge. So here, this town is most famous for its mineral water industry and is one of the main exports out of Georgia. So Bojomi is also home to the most extensive ecologically themed amusement park here, nestled in the Caucasus Mountains. Now we step by next in Akhotsiki. The meaning of this means new castle in Georgian, and obviously this dominates the landscape, the Rabati Castle, which overlooks the Polskovi River. Now, the castle and the old town have been lavishly restored a few years ago to help turn this town into a more attractive tourist stop en route to Armenia. Now, we explore the old town here, where you can wander through the multicultural complex of Rabath, and you can wander through the fortress and see its rare examples of traditional Georgian houses and the imposing castle surrounds as we wander through the mosque and the synagogue. Our last day in Georgia is here in Vadzia, where we explore the magnificent cave town from the 12th century, and it's one of the highlights of our trip here, as Vadzia stretches over half a kilometre along the river Mektvari and has 19 tiers and used to house over 3,000 caves. Now, the complex also includes dwelling quarters, small churches, refectories, wine cellars, and also there is a church that's cut into the rock of this amazing 12th century frescoes. So here we leave our local Georgian national escort, who will take us to the Armenian border, where we then met by our Armenian national guide, and then we venture into the final leg of our Eurasia tour. We arrive in Armenia, which boasts a history longer than most European countries and is one of the earliest Christian civilizations. Armenia's first churches were founded in the 4th century. Now, here we visit the beautiful town, also known as Dilijan, but most importantly known as one of the resort towns as referred to as Little Switzerland. So here you can enjoy the magnificent views to the forested mountainous surrounds, and you can also take a photo stop in the old town Dilijan, complete with the craftsman's workshop, galleries and museums, and enjoy a 2-night stay in this picturesque small village as we sightsee throughout. Now, along with visiting the many monasteries, churches and religious history throughout the region, we visit the Haghastan Monastery, which is a beautiful example of medieval Armenian architecture, which is nestled in the picturesque lush woodland. Now, we also enjoy lunch with a local family before driving to Lake Savan, where this is known as the Emerald of Armenia, and also for its beautiful monasteries on its shore. shore. Now, Lake Sevan is set 1900 meters above sea level and is the Great Blue Expanse, which stretches over 80 kilometers long and is 30 kilometers at its widest. Now, this is the largest lake in the Caucasus and is also one of the largest freshwater high altitude lakes in the world. And its colors range from various shades of blue depending on the weather, and it has this mysterious process where it changes from dazzling azure blue right through to the deepest, darkest shades of blue, and offers thousands of different shades in between. Now we continue along to the medieval Kachkar field, which is a fascinating medieval cemetery known as the Forest of Kachkar. Now, Kachkar means cross stone, which is a typical monument of an Armenian sculpture representing an ornamented stone with a cross in the center. Now we then continue further south towards the town of Goris, where we visit the Selim Caravanserai, which was an important trading post on the Great Silk Road, and also we stop at the interesting and mysterious Karahunj Observatory. Now this is known as Armenia's Stonehenge and is one of the greatest stories of prehistoric Armenia relating to the army stones that are hidden between the marvelous construction of large stones. So we also will then go further out to the Kinsgores village, and here we will see the breathtaking views of this village as we then move on to the Tetev Monastery, which is an architectural masterpiece dating back to the 10th century. And this offers, this monastery is built on the edge of nothing and is often referred to that. And here we will reach the monastery via the world's longest aerial tramway called the Wings of Tetev. Now we get to enjoy some wine here in Armenia as well, where we visit Vayotza region. Now this is the agricultural heart of the country, which has been inhabited since the Bronze Age. Now this region prides itself on its old winemaking traditions, and winemaking in Armenia dates back to at least 4100 BC. However, it's been disrupted over the many centuries, and today Armenia is embracing its rich and diverse traditions of their winemaking industry. Now we visit the Arena winery and have a wine degustation here, enjoying some of the best wines coming from the region. And then lunch today is at a local home where we have the opportunity to see how they distill vodka, and we also get to enjoy tasting their homemade vodka and wine. And then we also learn how to make Armenian cheese by burying it in the ground, which is rather a unique method. Here in Yerevan, you will see a city full of contradictions, right through to the opulent top-of-the-range Mercedes sedans that share the roads with the old Ladas. You'll also see old-fashioned tea houses sit next to chic European-style wine bars, right through to the different range of street fashions, ranging from hipster right through to babushka. And your day will begin exploring the many city sites here. So you'll see this thriving city with excitement, hustle and bustle that is that you'd expect to see in a modern capital city. So here we explore the Republic Square. We also then see the Opera House nearby, and we look at the stunning architecture throughout this hub of the capital. Now, other highlights include the Kafazjan Center of Arts and also the History Museum of Armenia, and also we see the ruins of Zavnots, which is the pearl in the 7th century architecture, which is inscribed as UNESCO World Heritage listed as well. So there's many sights to see here. This is but a few that we explore on our stay in Yerevan. On our last day of our Eurasia Explorer 24-day tour, we finish here in Yerevan in Armenia. We visit Gani village and see the temple, which dates back to the 1st century. This citadel is an impressive piece of ancient Armenian architecture. We also have lunch with a local family here and learn how to make the famous Armenian flatbread known as lavash. And then we also then head up to the spectacular towering cliffs to visit the Zegard Monastery and explore the spectacular views through this region. Now later we visit the Armenian Genocide Memorial Complex, which is dedicated to the memory of the 1.5 million Armenians who perished in the first genocide of the 20th century. Now we will see more other city sites through the city of Yerevan as we finish our tour here, and I thank you for joining us on an in-depth look throughout traveling throughout the 3 countries of Azerbaijan, Georgia and Armenia, and discovering the amazing diversity of these countries, regions, and also traveling through the Caucasus Mountains, through the stunning beauty of these regions. So for more information on this itinerary, you can find this on our website and also in our China brochure. Thank you for attending today's Around the World Armchair Adventures. From Wendy and all the team, we hope that this has inspired you. And whilst we may not be able to travel today, next week, or even next month, when the time is right, we will be here. In the meantime, please join us again next week for the next Armchair Adventures, where we hope you enjoy the incredible places that are waiting to be discovered and explored with Wendy Wu Tours. Have a great day and see you next time.